irony that he put this particular track on the urban radio, because he knows all the smart MCs know. Is it irony that it's this track? No, because I'm telling them the best artist is Catchy, current, and creative. Russ is always Catchy and creative. Right now, track is the current. It's the current. Like the current thing. So he knew. He's smart enough to know if I want to get on the radio, I gotta get a little track and shit. So he had a lot of the mumble rap kind of flows. That's what I be saying. Like, niggas don't be listening. I can go back to Michael Jackson even did it. Other stuff come into play, like promotion and the gimmicks and shit. But for the most part, your music gotta have a catchy, current, creative, dealing with the gimmicks and blah blah blah. So let's get into it. The philosophy I like to go by, what I call is triple C's, which stands for catchy, current, and creative. And for those who don't follow me, you can follow me on IG at Stackz and my rap mentor. I'm not gonna really spell it out for the video because there's a lot of spelling, so I'm gonna have my cameraman put it down below and y'all can find me there. Let me start by saying that there's a lot of things that has to come into place in order for you to be deemed as the best rapper. So these tips are with the assumption that you have a record label, you got some commercial visibility, so on and so on. But even if you don't, these tips will definitely help you get to that point, or to help you when you do get to this point. We'll get to that point, so definitely listen and pay attention to all these tips. So for the sake of an example, I'm going to use the Russ song, which is called the Flute song. Tip number 1 would be catchy. Now, the reason why the Flute song is deemed as catchy is because it has a nice flow. Russ got nice hooks. He has a smooth melodic voice. To compare catchiness to another popular artist, so you can see like it's just not Russ, it's most of the great artists, with J. Cole. If you heard J. Cole's last album, which I think was called KOD, if you notice, J. Cole used a lot of J. Cole is very known for being catchy. He usually has nice melodic hooks, so on and so on, and that's the reason why you want to strive to be catchy. Tip number 2 would be current. Now, using the example of the Flute song again, the reason why it's current, because if you listen to a lot of Russ's his more or less mainstream songs, Russ tend to use more of the kind of R&B sound, melodic hooks, tells a story and spit. But the reason why the Flute song itself in particular is deemed as current, because he still took his same formula, the more melodic, smooth flows, told a story. But if you notice, the song has a more track feel to it. And I think the reason why he put a track feel to it is to get on the radio, because it's more familiar to the average, the average listener. Most of Russ fans are probably not the average quote-unquote hip-hop listeners. So to compare that, I'm going to compare current with this song to a Drake song. If you've been there through most of Drake's career, you'll notice that Drake, if you look at Drake today, he does more of a trappier sound. Drake tells the story, Drake still has his, singing hooks, but the beats are a lot more trap. And I think because he does it because in this current state of hip hop, trap is the more dominant sound. So that's probably why the Flute song and Drake both, take that same tactic or that same strategy as you would. Now, the third tip will be creative. Using the Flute song for an example again, the reason why it's deemed as creative because whether you agree or not, Russ has his own style, his own unique style. Russ has his own unique flow, his own unique way of singing. So that's why it's creative. And the reason why you want to strive for creativity, mainly because there's a lot of catchy and current people today, but I feel like the creativity part will hold you for the long run. It'll rise you above the clutter of everyone sounding similar or using the same tactics. So to compare creative to another popular artist, I'm going to use Kendrick. If you listen to Kendrick is the prime example of catchy, current, and creative. The reason why I'll say that, if you listen to his last album, which I think off the top it was called Damn, if you notice, Kendrick still had his spit. He was still spitting. He still had his stories. He still had creative elements, but once again, Kendrick added a lot more track elements into his arsenal, if you will. And the reason why I think Kendrick added trap into his arsenal is because I don't care who you are, trap is the current dominant sound. Yeah, there's some exceptions, but for the most part, if you're in this current climate of hip hop, trap is the dominant sound. So I think that's why Kendrick uses trap in his more newer stuff. So catchy, current, creative. So to give you another example, but I don't want to get into too much detail and make this too long, but just to give you another example, I'm going to take two different artists from a completely different era and completely different genres. One is Michael Jackson and one is Tupac. Now, the reason why they're deemed as catchy, current, and creative is we obviously know Michael Jackson is super creative. We obviously know that. Obviously, Beat It, Thriller, we know he's creative. He has the right hooks. The reason why he was current for that time because when rock was one of the, the most popular elements of that time, Beat It had a lot of the rock elements, the guitars in the background. So that's what made Michael catchy, current, and creative. Tupac, for an example, what made him catchy, current, and creative. We know Tupac was always creative. He spoke from his heart. He had a good voice. He had good hooks, passionate hooks. The nice voice that kept him in tune with his music. The reason why he was current, no matter how much we deem these people as legends, Tupac still used the current West Coast vibe in a lot of his music. West Coast was a hot vibe at the time. It was the back then version of trap. So he used a lot of the West Coast vibes, having Dr. Dre with the beats. So that's what made Tupac catchy, current, and creative. I can go on and on and on, to all down to the legends, up to the future legends, but if you should get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So if you like this content, press the thumbs up. If you have any questions, ask them down below in the comment section. Share this with your peers. Also, to get more into detail, because I don't want to stretch this super long, I'm going to have a part 2, and I'm going to bring a very dope artist that I believe in, I'm pretty sure you will believe in, and we're going to get into more exact details, showing you all the steps by steps to be catchy, current, and creative. So don't forget to subscribe. Let's help each other grow. Peace.